Hello, hello. Welcome back for episode 16 of the Lorethrough. It's been a little while since I've recorded, so it may take me a little bit of time to get back up to speed in terms of speaking with flow and whatnot. I wanted to take a quick look at this outfit that I procured, the Iron Scale set. At one point in time, I insinuated that, I believe it was War Master Bernal. Yeah, Knight Bernal, that he was on the cover art. I was woefully wrong, and I believe I put up a correction on screen while I was talking about that. It doesn't seem like Bernal's on the cover, but do you know who is on the cover? A mysterious figure wearing the Iron and Scale set that I am wearing right now. So let's take a look at that. An iron helmet showing rust on its edges. Cloth covering the mouth and neck provides some resistance to poison and other irritants. Armor reinforced with metal scales. The cape covering the shoulders is made with treated rock lizard skin and provides ample protection against fire. Ordinary iron gauntlets and well-made trousers. The lower legs are each bound in cord for ease of movement. So the important parts seem to be the chest and the head. That the iron helmet has a mouth covering specifically. It's a little rusty around the edges. And scale armor, right? Being made from treated rock lizard skin. We can take a look at that here. It does look like it's made out of some sort of skin. Interesting that it says rock lizard skin. And then, yeah, it's armor reinforced with small metal scales. But the rock lizard portion of the mantle is referred to as skin, not scale. And it's hard for me to tell if it's scale. It almost looks like really rough skin with these mounds and crevices in it. Hard to say for sure. But I'm going to keep wearing this for just a little bit because there was a material we will see up ahead that I thought looked strikingly like it. I believe that's all I needed to unequip. I'm mistaken. There we go. Perfect. And now let's get off to our adventure. A little bit of a slow start today, I apologize, but I'll get up to speed in the coming episodes. I have taken into account what lots of people were saying about my audio mixing, which is fair. I had the game volume quite loud, my microphone not nearly sensitive enough, and it led to moments where if the music was swelling or there was a fight going on, you couldn't well hear me, or if I was inconsistent with my microphone distance, then it would cause these huge fluctuations in my voice. All things to be learned. I was giddy, a little bit excited to record. So I recorded 15 whole episodes before this episode 16. And as a result, those will not have the best audio. But such is life learning. The mosquito actually stood still. Very good. Very kind of him. So we're just making our way through these woods here in the Weeping Peninsula. Up here on this mound is a site of grace for us. Excuse me. And this is referred to as the south of the Lookout Tower site of grace. So we just have woods so far. Nothing too terribly interesting. But we see a tower and some demi-humans camped out beneath it. And if we see, there are bolts in the rock over there. They're probably a little faint. It looks like he's taking shots at him and not hitting him, actually. There we go. There we go. That's the shot we were looking for. Excuse me. I seem to have something in my throat, which is horrible, given I am trying to record. But, I will do something about that shortly. Such minimal range. I'm not using a shield right now, which is a horrible idea. Shields are super helpful against dogs in this game. Here we come up the cliff. Here's the fellow who's likely throwing pots. He's walking away like he didn't do it. He's like, I don't know, man. Somebody just did that. I don't. I wasn't me. I didn't see nothing. Could have been anyone. But let's get up here and take a look at the ballista. A mighty 3-knock ballista, by the looks of things. I believe you've seen one of these before. I'm just trying to remember where. I'm surprised he didn't see me. Alright. I feel like I stared at a ballista somewhere in a previous episode, and it is just not clicking with me where on earth that was. Oh, it's going to be so obvious in retrospect, but my memory's not coming to me. But a triple knock ballista. Interesting. Up there at the top of the tower, we found ourselves the hand ballista. One of my favorite weapons, especially for how early we can get it, right? This thing's just chunky looking. It's got... I assume that would be 2 bows, right? And I'm trying to find out how they connect by looking at it. It honestly doesn't look like it has much of a through piece. It might. It could be covered, right? That the tops and bottom bows are connected to each other. For all I know, it's 4 different curved structures around it. I'm not too familiar with bows, but I wonder if he did. And we have just enough strength. The funny thing is that it says it has a strength requirement of 30, but you always have to two-hand this silly weapon. Which means as a consequence, as long as you have 20 points of strength, you can always wield this thing. It might get mad at you when you first equip it, but you can always use it functionally. And, well, to be fair, Foreman Sieghelm is not a member of any artillery regiment. So of course he would miss his first shot, but as you can see, it does good damage. Crossbows in this game do not scale with stats, even the large ballistas. And they scale simply with their upgrade level. So, that was a neat find. Very good. I recommend that for any strength builds. It's nice to have a heavy hitting option for range, because the bows and crossbows just feel a little underwhelming in this game. They do have their uses. Some people can use short bows pretty well in PvP, or the one longbow that has the barrage active force. You can just fire a string of arrows repeatedly. But those require jump shot attacks usually to make good use of those. Alright, so now we are going to be looking for some ruins. Good, good. And I believe those are the ruins over here. Yeah, okay. I just noticed I was moving while reading my third monitor, and so hopefully my volume didn't fluctuate so much. I will try to do better. Here we have more demi-humans popping up from disguising themselves as foliage. It makes me wonder if they have the opportunity to ambush that many people coming through here. End of the world, smaller population. Who is this clan assaulting? Obviously they've made a trap. I've fallen for it. But they're the second to smallest size of demi-human. Bach excluded. And they're not very aggressive during the daytime. They like to scream first, which gives you so much time to deal with them. Granted, the game is likely teaching you how to play, so I don't think it's too horrible of an idea. They can be mean enough once they get their momentum. Like myself, when I am trying to talk and speak and do all this sort of thing. See, he even takes the time to yell. So we have a big one, kind of like the chieftains, where we got our knife from. I believe his body lingers good. I wanted to look at it for a moment, like a weirdo, like a freak. So he is wearing the hide of something, it looks like, and he's got these big old tusks, it looks like, strapped to his back. A little morbid what I'm doing here. But all of them seem to be wearing nondescript furs, bits of bone. They have some... I don't know if they have a grasp of metallurgy themselves, or if all of their weapons are scavenged from humans in this world. Kind of an interesting thing to think about. There is a ruin over here. I think it's that one, actually. That if you're playing multiplayer and don't have access to torrent, you essentially can't get into. Or maybe it's you can't get out of. That looks like you could walk up and into it. Maybe you can go in and out. You know what? This is probably very unlike the ruins at Agheel Lake over here. I'm sure you can get in and out just fine. You just have to pick the right spots. But here we have a cellar with a treasure chest. And here we find the shield of the guilty. I've always wanted to use this shield with its shield bash because it has blood loss. See? So you can have this little shield. Raises your meter when it comes to madness and sleep status ailments we've seen not any of, essentially. Well, we've seen a tiny bit of frenzy at the ailing village. But it comes with a shield bash. And I think shield bashes are supposed to be a pretty good shield breaker, which is kind of funny. But let's look at its description. Shield made to venerate a maiden whose eyes were crushed by briars of sin before being reborn in these lands. Venerating the repose of the soul, this shield boosts focus. The briars can be used to attack foes. Makes me wonder if it was always a shield. Like somebody's like, you know what kind of shield we need? We need one with that lady's face on it. Yeah, covered in briars. And honestly, it looks fairly deliberate, right? It doesn't look like it was hodgepodged. So, strangely ornamental. What kind of culture would come up with something like this? It seems like it would just be a piece in ceremony. A ceremonial piece, not a functional piece of equipment. Looks like it has places where a blade could get lodged. It would be entirely too difficult to maintain. So, who knows? I don't know much of what it connects to in-game. I think there is possibly a series of incantations we'll talk about later, but we will try to keep our eyes open for thorns and things pertaining to thorns, because that could be another symbol for us to keep an eye out for. Okay, so over here we have a larger ruin. Some more hapless demi-humans. He reacted pretty quick. Any others? No? No takers? Okay. Neat. And yeah, I wanted to bring my own little army, because if we look in here... You know what? Oh, are we luring one out? That's fine by me. That'll make the fight easier. Okay. You know what? There's a large demi-human in there. Huge, really. And it hasn't seemed to notice us, but I wanted to point something out. Find the opening back here. And the reason why I'm still wearing this chest piece... Oh, it's so hard to see, isn't it? Oh, it's from the front, isn't it? Miserable. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna summon the demi-humans ashes that we got earlier. And I'm going to piss off the beastie. I'm gonna be awkward and peep. Oh no. I don't have time for this. But I wanted specifically to look at the loincloth, and it's just not happening. But the loincloth looks like it's made out of a similar texture to the mantle. You could run that back. That might have been good enough. I don't know. Ow. And so I thought it was interesting that this is a chess piece that we find from a character on the cover art. Hopefully I spared enough time to show that image while I was talking about it. But if it's made out of rock lizard skin, it just seems interesting that perhaps this demi-human queen is also wearing some rock lizard loincloth. Well, here we find the demi-human queen's staff and the crystal burst sorcery. And some arteria leaves. Let's take a look at those. This demi-human staff, very interesting. Excuse me. Glintstone staff, styled as a scepter. A gift once given to the demi-humans to foster peace. It can be wielded even by those of low intelligence, sounds like us, sneered at by fools in the academy. And looking at it, well, sure enough, it has 132 sorcery scaling without being upgraded. Our staff, the digger staff, is upgraded 3 times. It is only 125. So if we're going for raw number, the demi-human queen staff is better. However, the Stone Digger, or the staff, boosts Stone Digger sorceries, and that's including our Shatter Earth ability here. I think it's a fairly substantial buff, 15 or 20%. So enough to make it better than the Demi-Human Staff in that one area. There's only like 2 Stone Digger sorceries in the game, unfortunately. Unless the DLC adds another one. Very possible. Alright, taking a look here. Yeah, we did want to go this direction. Okay. I don't have my map pulled up. I should have taken a look at it first. I just have the written road map for this playthrough on my other monitor. I should have pulled the map up. That's okay. This area is not too complex. I usually I had it mostly those maps made as a road map for what I would be doing. Because of Limgrave and Stormhill, you can just kind of go in circles trying to get all the content, complete all the quests. Here we see a huge flower. Miserable thing. We saw one in the Waypoint Ruins. Miranda Powder explains that these things are man-eaters. And so it makes me wonder if that poison that they produce, if in the lore, would have a sweet scent as to be alluring. I did want to clear over here really fast, because there's a unique enemy we see. So come here, buddy. So if I wanted the most damage, I could equip the Demi-Human Staff. We have enough strength, we can actually one-hand it. But an interesting fellow, huge just trunk and branches growing out of his spine there. He's got gold, never really took a look at his toes before. It almost looks like wood. Like a wood creature was trying to imitate a person, you know? And it's got these gold furnishings. I do have access to their set, so we will take a look at that, because why not? And they are wielding this sword spear, right? This is roughly what they look like. Intricate faceplate mask. And reading the description, we see engraved golden mask worn by the guardians of the minor Erd trees. In accordance with an ancient pact with the Erd trees, it is said that their deaths led not to destruction, but instead to renewal, eternal life as guardians. And it looks like all of the other pieces say much the same thing. And to be fair, we are under the minor Erd tree on the cliff right now. So we're gonna test out the sword spear on a couple enemies over here. This is a bridge we could have crossed from the south of the lookout tower side of Grace. But despite it being a spear, it's referred to as a sword spear, and it has these long sweeping attacks. Like, just seems hugely telegraphed. But like a halberd, it has poke attacks. It's got nice sweeps. The one-handed also has these attacks. It's not a bad weapon all in all. It has very good dexterity scaling, making it a very good choice early on. There's a good amount of these guys that aren't too far from Sight's Grace, so farming them is not the worst. The drop rate's not miserable. And it comes with a spinning slash. Oh, I'm chunky rolling. What a mistake. But none the worse for wear. Saved ourselves in the nick of time. Alright, let's go back to the mascot's outfit. Or to Sieghelm's chosen outfit. I don't think I started wearing gloves yet. I think we were still wearing, yeah, the blood-soaked manchettes. That makes more sense. And we want the staff. And why not the knife on the ready? Okay, a slow-going episode, not a whole lot of lore. We'll have a bit near the end, which will be exciting, I believe. It starts to connect a few more pieces about perhaps some historical events that have happened down here on the Weeping Peninsula. So we're going to make our way up to that church up there. What's left of a church. We have yet to find a furnished, complete church. Well, actually, yeah, we have not found an intact church. The closest we got was the Chapel of Anticipation. A very nice-looking church, but there was still a hole in the roof. Unacceptable. here we have some nobles. Nothing too major. Walking up this road with a banner in tow. Who knows where they're going on their pilgrimage. God, I cannot speak. To and from. We have a ghost here. The mausoleum prowls, cradling the soulless demigod. Okay, that's definitely lore. O America, Queen Eternal, he is your unwanted child. Take a look at that. Mausoleum prowls, cradling the soulless demigod. Queen America, or O America, Queen Eternal, he is your unwanted child. Okay. And here we have a statue, a new statue. We have the church here. This is a new statue we have not seen before. We'll like this. Every church we've gone to has either had nothing or a statue of Queen America, or in the Chapel of Anticipation, that robed lady with her hand outstretched. A sacred tear. Is this our first? I don't believe so. I think we found one at the Ailing Village. It just popped up in the center screen all big, and I forget if that's for rare items or the first time you find an item. So here we have a figure, a man, most notably, and he is supported by a bunch of root sprouts. I think that's what they're called. Like if you chop off a tree at the trunk and it doesn't die and it keeps growing. Golden centipede, we'll look at that in just a moment. It'll start sprouting all over the place, or it can, depending on the tree, I believe. And so that's what it looks like is going on around him. It's curling, supporting him. And behind him is interesting. It's like a trellis shape. I believe that's what that's called. Is the trellis. It's a lattice shape used. It is a trellis, and it is a lattice shape. That's the words. Those are the words. Cannot speak today. But it is a shape used for supporting climbing plants like vines. And I don't know if we can see anything in it necessarily. But the shape is there, very distinct, right? Proud, strong man. Not sure who he is just yet. Perhaps we will learn in time. We should learn in time. It may not be this episode, but we will see. If it isn't this episode, we should know the statue's name by next episode. So we have another flask. We can increase the potency. And Melina has some words for us, so let's take a listen.
Spoken echoes of Queen Marika linger here as well. Shall I share them with you?
Oh yeah, give us that, Lord.
In Marika's own words, then, after thy death, I will give back what I once claimed, return to the lands between, wage war, and brandish the Elden Ring, grow strong in the face of death. Warriors of my lord, Lord Godfrey.
Okay, so it doesn't seem to be a whole lot, but if we put it in context of other times she's spoken to us at churches, we start to get a picture, right? Not a complete picture, but a picture, right? So when we were resting at the third Church of America, which was all the way over here, right? We found our first sacred tear. That's probably where we found our first one. And the wondrous physic. She specifically said, spoken echoes of Queen Marika linger here as well. Shall I share them with you? We say yes. And she says, very well, in Marika's own words, my lord and thy warriors. I divest each of thee of thy grace. With thine eyes dimmed, ye will be driven from the lands between. Ye will wage war in a land afar, where ye will live and die. And then here, she just said, then, after thy death, I will give back what I once claimed. Return to the lands between, wage war, and brandish the Elden Ring. Grow strong in the face of death, warriors of my lord, and then she specifies, Lord Godfrey. So I believe this is the same lord that she's talking about, that Queen Marika is talking about Lord Godfrey. And he has that God in his name, like Godwyn, like Godric. And if we head down to the Castle Morn lift, in that ballpark, right? We step outside so we could use our horse. We found these lore sorts. And I don't have what's written down here. So we're going to it to read what it says. And it says, the Siege of Castle Morn, a lone hero fights for his vengeance, only to fall at the hand of Lord Godfrey. Right? And last time in the Morn Tunnel, we found the rusted anchor. I believe it was last time. A rusty anchor wielded as a weapon. Each of its 4 flukes is thick and sharp, enabling piercing attacks. When the Tarnished left the lands between with their lord, one boat alone was said to have been left behind. Right? So it seems that we're starting to get this tale that Lord Godfrey has some connection to Queen Marika. Is he a general? Is there a closer relation? There seems to be a golden lineage with demigods, so it stands to reason that there is far more familial relationship between Queen Marika the Eternal and Lord Godfrey. And so perhaps it's not out here. I was trying to see, but it seems that Lord Godfrey went on crusades, so to speak, for Queen Marika. And he ventured, starting north at least, and went south. And he conquered the people of this castle here, Castle Morn, for instance. And he seems to have been driven out, in a sense, by Queen Marika. That she made promises to him and his men, who we now seem to have a connection as the Tarnished. With their eyes dimmed, they were chased from the lands between, but that they would return, wage war, and brandish the Elden Ring. I will check the beaches over here when we get there, but on the western edge of the continent, I think we might see some remnants of some docks over there. A little bit of foreknowledge, I apologize, but that's just how it is when I'm trying to piece all these ideas together. When you look at these ideas, you get a general sense, but I'm trying to substantiate everything I say with pieces of information in-game. And I will do some postulating. Have no fear. We will get to the silly postulates. And so I want to make sure we have a groundwork first of Curved Bandit Sword. I was gonna show what they dropped. And a Gilded Iron Shield. Alright, let's take a look at these. So I already found one earlier. Curved sword with a light crescent-shaped blade, used by the bandits who ran rampant in the wake of the Shattering. Most of the blade is now darkened and covered with rust, but with enough dexterity, this weapon may stand up to some use. This is a very good curved sword. It's one of the heaviest. It weighs 5, and so as a result, it tends to have a pretty high base number for its damage. Before even scaling is figured in, it seems to have very high base damage, and the scaling's well enough. And then we found the Gilded Iron Shield. Let's take a look at small metal round shield, heavier than a wooden shield, but boasts higher damage negation. Though the gold leaf is peeling and the effect is slight, it still boosts holy damage negation. So it seems interesting that we learn from the Gilded Great Shield of the Godric Knights and from this round shield here that gold isn't just symbolic. It has real world properties. In fact, there are energies you can channel that deal damage, holy damage, for instance, and physical gold is resistant to this property. And so we've just naturally drawn that through line. Okay. So here up ahead we have the Tombswort Catacombs. We will be investigating them next time. We've run almost 30 minutes, and once I add the intros, it'll probably be just over 30 minutes. But we have gone through a little swath here. Not a whole lot. Getting up to speed, learning to talk, hoping the audio is good. I think I might have bumped the microphone once, so I apologize. This is going to be a very organic series. I apologize a lot. Do I say sorry for that? Either way, I would like to leave you off with a good note. Oh dear. Oh no. That's Deathroot. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.